Okay, I thought I'd take this opportunity to do a review on my bike. I've had a year and 3 months now. I've toured France and Spain last September on her. I had a week in Wales earlier this year, and other trips and general riding that's been done on her. I've done about 6,000 miles on her now since I've had her. So I think that's enough for me to spend enough time with her, got into grips to be able to give a justified view on my thoughts on her. Well, I mean, first off, the reason I bought it. My last bike was an RF 900, Suzuki RF 900, and I wanted to get something that was a bit more comfortable for touring. Didn't fancy it on a sports bike, so looked about, narrowed it down, and it kind of came down to a toss-up between this and the Bandit 1250, and I went for this one. After test riding them both, I preferred this, and I bought it. It came with all the full luggage, top box panniers. It had a Givy touring screen on it, which was quite a high screen, but I didn't get on with that because it was just buffeting the wind around my head. So I've added a few extras since I've got the bike, which is this MRA Vario touring screen, which I'm really pleased with. Does the job. And you've got the adjustable deflector. Bought the Givy tank lock tank bag. I've had a rear hugger put on. It's a carbon fibre effect one from Puig, which just kind of keeps all the crap going off the shock really. And again, I put a shock tube on there just to protect the shock a bit, because it was getting a bit damaged from the old crud going up. What else have I done? Oh yeah. Crash bungs. Crash bungs put on. Red guard. Oh, centre stand. I had a centre stand fitted. I think that's about it. Sat nav. Obviously, I had a sat nav. Bought a sat nav, fitted that. So yeah. So she's all sort of geared for touring really, but take all the panniers and that off, and she's good for everything else. But yeah, what are my thoughts on her? Do you know what? I'm really pleased that I bought this bike. And you know, when people say they want to buy a bike, one bike to do it all, it's a big ask really. It's a big ask, you know, to get one bike that's going to do everything. And there's always going to be compromises made. But for me, ultimately, this is super comfortable. The riding position, you're in that upright riding position. Pegs are a little bit lower than a sports bike. The bars are nice and high. The seat is comfy, and it's got an adjustable seat. You can adjust it into three different heights. Mine's set at the middle height. I mean, I'm about 5'9", 5'10", and that's sort of spot on for me. So it's the Honda CBF 1000. The engine is a Fireblade engine. I mean, this is a 2009 model bike. The engine is based on it's the Fireblade 2005 model engine, and it's been detuned. I think it's had about 70 horsepower taken off of it, but it's been tuned so you've got a lot of low down torque and mid-range, which is perfect. It's what you want on a road bike. I'm now in top gear doing 30 mile an hour. It's under 30 mile an hour, and it's smooth as you like. The engine is flawless. You've lost that top end grunt that you would have, but to be fair, where are you going to use it on the roads? You know, I can't see myself doing track days on this bike, although it would, you know, it would be capable on the track. It would be fun, but I just don't see myself doing track days on it. So the power is lovely. It's nice, linear, smooth power. It's lovely and docile riding around town like this. It's not going to get you into any bother. Just smooth, nice and smooth. And just lazily ride. But it also it's got plenty of acceleration there if you need it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not going to rip your arms out of your sockets like a full-on sports bike would, but there's plenty of power there to keep you smiling, to keep you entertained, keep that smile on your face. It's going to keep you entertained. It's sporty enough for on the roads, you know. I mean, it's got its limitations compared to a sports bike. You know, the suspension and the brakes are not going to let you go too mental, but let's be honest, on the road that's probably not a bad thing. Like I say, if you do track days, then you're going to want a bike that's going to perform on the track. If you want a bike for the roads, this is the toy, this is the kiddie. This is the bike for the roads. It was built for the roads. It wasn't built for the track. It was built for the roads, for everyday use on the roads. And you can commute on it. You can come out and have a bit of fun on it. The suspension is actually not bad. To be honest, it's not bad. You know, it's not spine shattering like a sports bike. It soaks up quite a lot of the bumps, but it's still firm enough that you can have a bit of fun. And the brakes are pretty good as well. You know, it's got the Honda combined braking on it. It's a bit unsure about that, to be honest, but to be honest, it's really quite unobtrusive. You don't really notice it. But yeah, the brakes are decent enough. I mean, I've had this fully loaded up, touring on it, and I no issues with the brakes. And the handling's very good. It's very neutral handling. It feels very balanced. I guess the looks of it, it's not the sexiest bike on the road by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot better looking bikes out there, I'll be honest. But to be fair, I mean, it's not an ugly monster. You know, it's just a bit bland when it comes to the looks, I guess. You know, it's half-fared. Looks are subjective. I mean, I didn't buy it for the looks. You know, some people go, oh, that's a sexy bike, I'll buy that. I bought it for, it ticked a lot of the boxes of what I was looking for in a bike. It is what it is. As I say, the riding position for me is nigh on perfect. You know, I wouldn't change anything. You know, I'm very, very slightly leant forward, so I'm not bolt upright. So there's not a lot of weight on the bottom of my spine. So no problems with my wrists, and you're upright. You've got a nice commanding view of the road, not hunched over like on a sports bike. I mean, obviously where the pegs are a bit low, you know, you don't have as much ground clearance, so if you're getting a bit frisky in the bends, you just have to bear that in mind. You know, you're not going to get the same sort of lean angles as you are on a sports bike, but that's not to say you can't still have fun in the bends. You just have to be aware of that, you know. Just you got to be a bit more aware of your foot positioning on the pegs if you're having fun in the twisties. The mirrors are brilliant, absolutely brilliant mirrors on this. I get no vibration issues. They give a really good clear view of what's going on behind. It's very basic layout with the dash. You know, you've got a speedo, 2 trips on it, you've got a rev counter and a fuel gauge. That's pretty much it, and a clock. I think it would have been nice if they had have put a temperature gauge on. I mean, to be honest, I would have rather had a temperature gauge than a fuel gauge. Not that I've had any overheating issues with it, but I just think that that's something that would have been better for me. Just like to look and see how your bike is running, temperature wise. But yeah, I mean, you haven't got any of these fancy riding modes, traction control. I mean, this is the non-ABS model. You know, it's pretty basic. It's fuel injected, but the fueling on it is very good. It's very good. It's very smooth, very no glitches. It's got the HIS, the Honda mobilisation system on it. I bought this bike, I think, third owner. Had about 17,000 odd miles on it when I bought it. It was 6 years old. And when I bought it, as I say, obviously it had been used regularly, used daily, kept outside. A little bit of corrosion and some of the nuts and bolts and bits and bobs, as you'd probably expect. And on the swinging arm, because they use a steel swinging arm on these, so they can go a little bit rusty. You know, I've sort of touched it up, a bit of paint here and there, but you know, it's no real issues to me. I mean, I got it at a good pricing, allowing for all of that. But yeah, it's a workhorse. At the end of the day, it's an everyday kind of bike workhorse. The gearbox, yeah, the gearbox, typical Honda gearbox, you know, nice and clunky, positive clunky gearbox. I have had a couple of issues with false neutrals, which has been kind of when I've been riding lazily and just sort of gently tapping it into gear. I think you need to be firm with it. You know, you've got to give it a good firm click in, otherwise you can sometimes have those issues. I mean, it hasn't happened often, only every now and then, but I think that's kind of a Honda thing anyway. But the fuel economy is very good on this. It's very good. I filled up earlier. I think I'd done about 187 miles, and I put, it was about 19 pounds worth of fuel, just over 19 pound, and that's, I mean, I always put the when I can, the super unleaded, the top one in. I mean, this bike will run on normal premium unleaded, but I just like to put the best in that I can, not necessarily to notice any performance gains, just knowing that those better fuels tend to have some better cleaning agents and that in there, which is hopefully in the long term gonna keep your engine in and your fuel system in cleaner condition. That's my theory. Whether there is actually any science to prove that, I don't know, but I'm quite happy to pay the extra couple of pence per litre for the good stuff personally. And I'm sure a lot of you will say, oh, you're throwing your money down a drain, you don't need to be doing that, which maybe you're right, but this is what I choose to do. But yeah, what else? Any issues with the bike? No, not really that I can think of. At the end of the day, it's a Honda, so it shouldn't, I hope, touch wood, other than the usual Honda things, I guess, which is regulators and rectifiers. I mean, I've not had no issues with the ones on here, but you know, Hondas are renowned for poor regulators, rectifiers, so that's something that, yeah, that I'm aware of. And the cam chain tensioners can tend to be a bit noisy on the Honda engines, but I haven't noticed any issues on this one yet. So would I recommend this bike? Yes, I would. I would. If you're looking for a bike that will do pretty much anything, well, I don't think you'll go far wrong with this. If you're looking for a bike you can commute to work on, relatively hassle-free, this bike will do that. If you're looking for a bike that you can tour on comfortably, ride long distances without getting too uncomfortable, carry quite a lot of luggage, this bike will do that. If you're looking for a bike to go out and have a little bit of fun at the weekends, this bike will do that. You know, it'll put a smile on your face still. It may not have the character and that of a lot of other bikes, but it still has got plenty enough there to keep you entertained. And the thing is, with with the way that engine produces its power, which is, you know, sort of low to mid-range, you know, you're probably going to be away from the lights quicker than your mates on the sports bikes. You know, ultimately they're going to do you once they get up to speed, but probably not by vast amounts. So yeah, value for money. I mean, I bought this, you know, a year and 3-4 months ago from a dealer, 6 years old, and I paid $4,200, and that was with full luggage. Yeah, could have probably got cheaper if I'd have hunted about, bought private, but I wasn't in that position. I needed to get it on finance. So yeah, you know, now I should imagine you can probably pick up a good example, you know, with full luggage, probably similar year, probably about $3,000, I would imagine, $3,000 upwards. Yeah, so basically, to summarise, the Honda CBF 1000, 2009 model. Yeah, I'm pleased I bought it. It's not a bike I feel I want to get rid of anytime soon. You know, it's a bike that I still enjoy. You know, my biking has changed now, you know, and I'm enjoying the touring aspect of things, to get on and get away, load it up, and away you go. You know, I don't ride at hell at breakneck speeds now. You know, I still have my moments of enjoyment when the mood takes me, but this is a kind of bike you kind of want to get on it and take in the scenery a bit, I guess, as opposed to just fly past everything at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So if you're in the market for a new bike, you haven't got the funds for a brand new bike, you're looking for something around the $3,000 or $4,000 mark, something that's going to see you good for a few years, commute on, tour on, out for a weekend blast on, I don't think you'll go far wrong with a CBF. I guess the Honda just gets on and does the job, really, without any fuss.